have to wait to love someone. Reach out into space and touch someone. You don't have to wait to love someone. Reach out into space and touch someone.
Fantastic there. Now, what a moment, what a thought. Fantastic. And I love that thought because, you know, for me, actually, the end times doesn't hold any kind of fear.
No, well, there should be no fear in spiritual
I actually
journey,
am looking forward to this whole thing. In fact, I think it's going to be a right laugh. I mean, I reckon this one's going to rock better than anyone we've ever experienced before in the whole galactic atomic whole. Anyway,
there's said to be an ancient Chinese proverb that says, "May you live in interesting times," which people tell you is a curse. This, in fact, isn't a Chinese proverb. It actually comes from the Fu Manchu films, and it says a lot about how Westerners see the Chinese. But I stand by it. You know, may you live in interesting times. We live in fantastically interesting times. Good God, you know, the whole of creation is about to shift. You know, and all people really have to fear is their own lack of imagination. You know,
imagination key.
Yeah,
I love imagination. Now that's why I love playing with kids, my nephew, people like that. Playing Lego. We talk about Lego, don't we? We love Lego.
Yeah, and
Lego's great for imagination. Really gets great.
Yeah, and we've got to plug the Lego movie, by the way.
Yes,
the Lego movie,
the
most subversive movie you will see in the mainstream, and a pure telling of the prophecy.
Very clever, my nephew.
In which this idiot who accidentally finds the Holy Grail and becomes the chosen one in the thing. But as the story says, through his own experiences, he learns and comes to become a natural leader, basically.
Fantastic.
That's my story, as envisaged by the Buddha, the very human God-man, basically.
Well, there you go. Very human God-man. Right, good. Now, basically, what's quite good, so let's talk about this pole shift, because actually I noticed, just my own observations, 11:11, there's quite a few things going on, you know, things dropping out of the sky, you know, moons going egg-shaped, you know, beaching of whales, you know, seems to be a decline in
thousands of dead birds, frogs, all sorts of things. You know, now, this is alluded to in the Third and Final Testament. I wrote part 2 is a snapshot of the world around 11:11:11.
Yes, obviously. And now 11:11:11 was a very powerful time for me in my life. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where you were, but for me, I was actually doing loads of cool stuff. I was coding this whole game into the ethos. Sort of like we had this whole game, really good experience. It's online. I'll have to put it up online sometime. It was with my mate Mike Emery, very good guy. Anyway, carry on, Dave.
For 11, that's the thing about the part 2 of the Third and Final Testament. It's a snapshot around 11:11:11. So it's all about the riots, it's all about the world economy falling apart, it's all about showing how crazy the whole thing is, basically.
Obviously, yeah. We're going nuts, yeah.
So it's very, you know, the Bible, the Third and Final Testament is, say, firmly rooted in the reality of this world, basically, part 2 of it. Takes the form of a prophet in the square, talking to people, and people, somebody in the crowd who's slowly waking up to what's going on, basically.
Slowly. So slowly, they're waking up. That's good news. Now, what I mean is, once people do wake up to this pole shift, obviously it's going to be more apparent once the poles actually do start to shift and the light starts to phase and we start to see all the colours and the dimensions collapse. Now, once that kind of starts to happen, in my view, you know, it's really time. We're going to have such a great laugh. Me and you, mate, we're going to be rocking it. Because actually, we know how to handle this stuff. Do you know what I mean? We know how to navigate these kind of worlds. Whereas, you know, some people who haven't got the love just don't.
Well, and that's what I say about smoking marijuana, taking magic mushrooms and so on. These are all preparations for a spiritual awakening. If you've not been through altered consciousness, when these changes come, you won't know what the fuck is going on, basically.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened in the world at the moment. That guy recently who flew that German wings plane into the ground, that's what I think happened with him, is that the spirit comes to him, he has no idea what to do, and at that point you're at the most danger from the dark side, because the dark side want to nip a spiritual awakening in the butt. Because they know that, you know, even 2 days on, they might have missed a opportunities. They come in hard. So with this guy, they take him over, he crashes the bloody plane. We're going to see more and more of this madness in the run-up to the final end times, because people just simply don't know how to deal with it. And quite often all it is just being able to find that moment of peace. You empty the mind of the thoughts, you empty it of the static. Then you connect with your heart to the divine. And modern science has shown us we've got lots and lots of neurons in our heart, basically. We make decisions literally in the heart, and the ones we make in the heart are the good ones.
Well, I was a strong believer in meditation, Dave.
Yeah, same here. So you can't do that meditation. You really can't. No. And again, when we're talking about the return of the feminine, the goddess, and all this sort of stuff, that really, the feminine is the passive, the inactive. Therefore, the feminine is about the meditation. If you meditate properly, get the divine message, you then act. You do the masculine, but you do it with pinpoint precision. Because you've got the whole of creation on side. So whatever you do goes a very, very long way. And then you retreat, then you can just go and have sex, smoke weed, play musical instruments, write novels, whatever you want to do, basically.
Never said don't have sex, do we?
Now, you don't have to do a lot for God if you get it right.
Exactly. Now, I would point out, actually, it's very similar to the Muslims. All you have to do is turn your attention to God, is what it says, right? Yeah, very clear, right? So actually, that's what you should be doing, turning your attention to God and then actually enjoying your life, Now, basically, obviously, I would say, I do have a kind of affinity with the old Muslims. Love them. And also, with a lot of Mother Brotherhood in India. Now, basically, obviously, I know a lot about Buddhism, and I do chanting as well, Buddhist chanting. So that, and I read the knowledge book, very key. Now, between all those things, and obviously a little bit of magic and the Kabbalah, I think, that's kind of enough me kind of spiritually sorted in a way. That does take a little bit of time, but actually I think it's worth it, because at this time of the year, really, practicing the guitar and playing music, I also consider to be a spiritual practice as well. Let's point that out, because actually the other thing is everyone can clap their hands, everyone can dance a little bit, do you know what I mean? And that kind of shaking your body up, getting the fields moving, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, now we all have our different ways of connecting to the divine. It's partly because God gives us certain talents. Obviously, that's why I get from writing and getting up on a stage and getting a message out.
On the stage, I love partying. That's why I love singing. I love singing in my band. My band's awesome, Dave. Now, basically, once I get my band back together and get all this stuff out of the way, do you know what I mean? Start the party really rolling. I'll be really, really happy then, more happy than ever before.
Because the third part of the third and final testament, I've got to say, is I wrote when I was, it started when I was in MI5, I wrote it in hiding, so it was finished by the end of 1998. Strange enough, I wrote it as an atheist. I thought there's no possibility of redemption. I tried to take all mention of Christ out of this book. So when the hero says Jesus Christ, renders an X. Even Christ Church College is X-Church College. So there's no mention of Christ in there at all, apart from one point it says Antichrist, strangely enough. And then I realised, after my awakening, I read my novel again with new eyes and realised somehow as an atheist I'd written a book about spiritual redemption, even to the extent that the letter of X in Kabbalah is the righteous man is just a Kabbalistic term for the Messiah. So I put Jesus Christ straight back in there. And that was a very, very clear and graphic demonstration of no matter how determined I was to take Christ out of something, that was not the will of God. The will of God was that Christ should be in that book, and therefore it was there. And that's why it now becomes part of the third and final testament.
Yeah. Well, David, this has been fascinating. I think we should have a pause there for consideration from the heavens.
Appreciation for the life that we give. What we're receiving is the moment to live. Self-destruction could blow us away. So let's take a moment